morning, guys. My name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Good morning. Welcome old subscribers. Welcome new subscribers. Alexa, what's the time, please?
The time is 7:51 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Monday the 21st of March.
And Alexa, the weather.
Right now in Rochester, it's 0 degrees Celsius with mostly sunny skies. Today's forecast has lots of clouds, with a high of 15 degrees and a low of 0 degrees.
Right, guys, so it was a bit nippy last night. I felt the cold. So it's 0 degrees. At least it's not minus. The day looks like we're going to have a bit of sunshine. Yeah, so it's not too bad, is it? So, yeah, I spent most of the day around my mum's yesterday, keeping my mum company, talking to my mum, having a dinner around there. So later on in the evening when I got back home, I took Max for a walk, took my torch, and just walked around the Rochester Riverside with Max, and I went on the field in the dark. Nearly 8 o'clock, I think, and just tried to relax and calm down and have an enjoyable evening. Got back into the flat, just watched the telly, put the telly on really, and watched it. It was a quiz show. I can't remember what it was called. I just sat down and watched a quiz show. Because that's another thing I like, is quiz programs, you know, so I watched the quiz show, enjoyed that, and I just made myself coffee, played Spades, the online game, and I just, you know, do what I do every evening, basically. So I'm making myself a cup of coffee now. Go through my phone, see if there's anything there, and you know, the same old, and it is every day, and I can't help that. So just going through my phone. Really isn't anything on here, to be honest. I think all the trolls have like bogged off and gone somewhere else, because you know I'm not getting all that shit anymore. I get it very slightly occasionally where people like ask how I am when they know I feel like crap, but nothing remarkable. Right, Alexa, can you put LBC Radio on, please?
LBC London from Global Player.
At this point in time, I don't need to tell you or your colleagues of events in China, but just to recap for the benefit of my listeners, there are concerns. The numbers are now being seen at the highest rate since the end of 2019. Shanghai, they're closing schools. They're even looking to close Shanghai Disney. Is it coming back, Secretary of State?
No, I think the situation in China and Hong Kong, for that matter, where they're seeing something similar, it is very, very different to what we have here. And that is that both of those places have followed what they call a sort of zero COVID policy. They tried to keep COVID out completely. And with Omicron, it's obvious that's just not possible. It's far too contagious. The second problem that they're facing is that in terms of vaccination rates, especially amongst older people who are, as I said earlier, are more vulnerable, they're much, much lower than our vaccination rates. You know, we've been very fortunate that British people have really come together and taken up the offer of vaccines. Over 90% of people vaccinated. When you look at Hong Kong, for instance, my understanding is around 2/3 of people over the age of 80 are not vaccinated at all. And that is sadly why we're seeing an increase in hospitalizations and deaths in that part of the world. The situation here is very, very different.
So, as far as we know, it's not a new strain. It's the fact that the United Kingdom, particularly England, have been able to get ahead of the game as regards Omicron.
Yes, with vaccinations,
Okay.
with our testing offer, with the antivirals, but most of all, by far and away, is the wall of protection built by the vaccine program.
If I might, can I move you to other matters as a senior member of the
Sure.
government? When you witness or you read about Putin's demanding or ordering bombs to rain down now on schools, on care homes, and forced deportations, it would appear, of some people down in Mariupol, is he a war criminal, Mr. Jadot?
Look, I'm appalled by the atrocities that are unfolding in Ukraine and the despicable attacks that we're seeing on civilians. Whether he's a war criminal, I mean, I look, these are the, as far as I'm concerned, these are the acts of a war criminal. In terms of how he's held to account for that, that will be a job, a really, really important job for the International Criminal Court. And I was pleased to see that last week that my colleague, the Deputy Prime Minister, went out to The Hague to speak to the Chief Prosecutor there and to offer all the support the Ukraine, the UK can offer the court there in terms of gathering evidence.
It is reported by the United Nations some 10 million Ukrainians, roughly a quarter of the population, are now in some way, shape or form on the move. It's also reported that as regards arrival in the United Kingdom, red tape is holding some of these people up. There are even reports that they're sleeping in the streets or sleeping in forests or whatever it might be. Have you got any numbers or reaction to that, Health Secretary?
Well, look, I'm pleased that we are supporting Ukraine in every single way that we can, whether it's military aid, humanitarian aid, or indeed, as you just talked about, Nick, about providing sanctuary for those that are fleeing Ukraine. We have two programs in place to do that at this point in time. One is the family reunion program, where my understanding is that we can do around 9,500 visas issued. And then there's the hosting program, where some 150,000 people have registered their interest. And it's important that we continue to help in that way. I expect that we will see hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians.
Stop. Okay, guys. So the saga of the Greggs takeaway. Last night I went downstairs to take Max out for a walk, and someone had ripped open one of the packages, and some hash browns were showing out the package. Now, I'm not touching someone else's property because that's theft, and so obviously it's probably kids or somebody mucking about. The other half was left by the mailboxes. The other one has been open and ripped apart. I expect the cleaners will find it this morning. So I'm just wondering why someone wasn't worried about their takeaway that's gone missing and had asked Greggs where it was, that's all. It's about to not want to know what's happened to your takeaway, don't you think? See you later, guys.